Sussman. I mean,
That's
how
the
could
Gail
you not
Simmons. Yeah,
go
Yep.
on that?
yeah, I can't, yeah, a couple of them are at 1:00. I can't wait. Oh, and I signed up for Twitty, Michael Twitty's discussion. He's the African-American Jewish cook, Jewish chef. And I've seen him before and I love him. So I cannot wait. It's so much fun.
I think he's the one that's on the Wevo series.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, I
Yeah,
think you're right.
I'm on
I
unit
can't
3
let you
now.
go.
Very
I
interesting.
can't let you
Yeah,
go.
I can't wait.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's the more important, by the way.
Oh, and the deli one. I can't wait to go to the
Accepted
deli
your
one.
card, 'cause
That'll
the
be
last
fun.
2 times we tried, it didn't work.
Story of American delis. That'll be great.
We had that speaker at PSW once, the deli guy.
Yeah.
I think we did a couple of years ago. Where is she? Where's PSW people?
We had the deli guy.
We had the deli guy because I bought the placemat with different delis or whatever.
I have it
right?
too. Mhm.
Yeah, there's it, right.
It's funny.
He was good. Very
Yeah.
interesting.
I could,
Here's
In
a
Dallas, they
Zodiac.
I
had
would
the
enjoy
most
a pastrami
amazing.
sandwich right now. Anyone delivering
Where is
kosher
it
pastrami?
based?
I don't-
Hi, Charlie. Hello.
In Dallas, they had a guy who was not a kosher chef, who was a big whatever stars and everything else, and he worked with the rabbi for 3 days and made the most amazing meal and taught. It was fabulous, fabulous.
Where's the sisterhood? And it's Edna by you somewhere. Is it by you?
Yeah.
The one with the corned beef? They make like
Oh, that's
10,000
they're not
corned beef
part of us.
sandwiches and
In
distribute them?
Elgin.
What is
In
it?
Elgin.
Yeah.
Sounds
They
good to me.
disaffiliated.
No, but somebody I just was at, they were busy. Oh, no, it was Augusta. It was Augusta also in, what do you call that place? Georgia.
What do you call that place?
That
What do you
place.
call that place?
What do you call that shit? Yeah, they make like a zillion corned beef sandwiches and people all over the city order them and they deliver corned beef. It's like a fundraiser that they have in Augusta.
Oh, that's cool.
Sign me up.
Nice.
Yeah.
You really sign me up.
I
We're
know.
having Shabbat dinners that are delivered from my
Yeah.
shul.
Oh, that's cool.
Charlie, hello.
Oh, Charlie.
Oh, now we have a
Hi,
grandson.
Charlie. We know who you are without even.
He doesn't
naming.
quite fit on your lap, though, Faye.
Big, Faye.
Big to sit
I'm
on my
glad he's
lap.
joining us.
He's a cutie.
We remember when you were born, Charlie. This whole group was there.
They all know you. You were born. Oh, he's gonna be thrilled.
What grade are you in?
Okay.
What
All
grade
right.
is he in?
Funny.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Oh, so
A mensch,
good.
Faye, a mensch.
Faye, what grade is Charlie in?
Charlie was in 5th grade, but over the pandemic, his mother's been working on him with him to learn a lot of things. And on Friday night, he now does the kiddush for us.
Nice.
Nice,
Very
Bless.
Yep.
nice.
Hi, everyone.
Like way ahead of when his training was bar mitzvah. That's what his what he's doing, is an activity.
Nice.
Very cool.
Okay, doing good.
Very cool. Hi,
I
Julia.
wanted to tell you guys, my daughter's sisterhood in Sarasota, right? Florida.
Sarasota.
They make Shabbat dinners every week and you order ahead of time and you pay, I guess. And you drive up and they put the whole Shabbat dinner with the homemade challah, with everything right in your car. What a great fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
What a great thing. Our synagogue doesn't do.
We might be able to do that in the future.
You know what? The way we're going, we might.
Social distancing though, for the people.
No, they have a they have like a caterer that they pay. She comes in and usually they have volunteers, but the volunteers are older, so they're not coming. So now like this week, my grandson went in and helped in the kitchen because he's not working right now. So
At my shul, you have a choice that you can come and pick it up, or they will deliver it to you.
Nice.
All right, ladies, it's 1 o'clock.
Curbside service.
It's 1 o'clock, so we're gonna chat after. Good morning, afternoon.
All right, you're unmuted. Sorry.
Yes, thank you, Rabbi. Okay, perfect. So thank you, and welcome again to Bina from Israel. Nice to have you back with us every day. Becoming a regular, we love it. And everybody's here. If you're not here, raise your hand. No, this is a group that's here. So welcome, and almost Shabbat Shalom. And today, I guess we're at 40, Rabbi?
55. Oh, Psalm 40, yes. Psalm 40, number 55 of the
Okay,
number of
wonderful.
people so far. And if people are coming on late, they're going to miss the Mishaberach, unfortunately. But we're going to start, as we said before, to have a little break between. So we'll start with chanting the Mishaberach and first hearing the names of those who are in need of healing, which Barbara Ezring will read the list. Thank you. And then Razel will, Razel, I realized that I texted Razel and she doesn't always see my chat on here. Razel, is that okay if you lead us in the Mishaberach? That's easy. The website doesn't have to be changed. We don't have to format it, anything like that. Okay, Barbara, thank you.
Jace Diaz, Joe DiLorenzo, Shaya Eliyahu Ben Miriam, Charles Schwartz, Ron Meir Ben Yonina, Ron Panzek, Judy Steinberg, Yenta Hodas Bat Esther, Binyamin Ben Shmuel Balea, David Ben Sara, Toiba Bat Chana, Alyssa Lazarus, Tim Wilson, Rachel Tema Bat Sara, Mordechai Ben Etta, Jerry Katz, Sarah Karen, Bert Berlin, Alan Goldberg, Chana Tzvi Ben Mulcha, Shimona Bat Sara, Evelyn Levine, Susan Falk, Shmuel Ben Erica, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Malka Shifra Bat Etta Ruchel, Martin Mazie, Loretta Mazie, Leah Bat Adina, Vicky Lockatan, Adrian Sandheimer, Shmuel Ben Dov Erica, Dov Ben Etta, Trudy Spector, Eleanor Clow, Rivka Bat Avram, Barbara Brown, Birish Ben Chana, Marcella Kaplan, Mara Fornataro, Rena Stern, Sherry Dreyfus, B. Reynolds, Moshe Shraga HaKohen Ben Batchamina, Joyce Hotzer, Wendy Hotzer, Daniel Ett, Anna Butler, Susan Robinson, Susan Fall, Yossel Ben Nachum, Joe Gutman, Malka Bat Itta, Elaine Gallens, Paula Kaplan, Ray Morris, Saada Bat Rivka, Skylar Lagano, Afrima Ahadara Bat Sedel Devora, Paul Uffer, Randy Bat Sarah, Aviva Bat Chaya, Audrey Maddens, Nansen Ben Yehuda, Matt Tepperman, Gavriel Ben Root, Dina Leah Bat Sarah David Yitzchak, Reut Bat Chana, Ruth Lowenstein.
Barbara, thank you, and we wish everybody a speedy recovery. And Razel, if you could unmute yourself as I will switch to the screen so we can all read the words for Mishaberach.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Shemotenu Mekor habracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Thank you, Razel and Barbara, and we wish all a speedy recovery. And that's part of what our psalm is all about today as well, where David asks for renewal of strength and thanks God, gives thanks to God for all that he has, and he encourages everyone to have trust in God. So it's a nice way to begin, that we put our trust in God and offer our prayers for those who are in need of healing. So thank you, Razel and Barbara, for reading that. So Margie was right. We are on Psalm 40, and we're up to 67 people now that I have the psalm and the number correct. Maybe when we're up to 150, we'll have 150 people on the call. Who knows? So the question that is what the psalm could be asking today, the answer to the very difficult theological question. Should one act religiously out of a sense of obedience to God's will? Or is it better to act spontaneously because one personally is inspired to do so? So the question is, do we do mitzvot because we're told to? Or do we perform the mitzvot because we're inspired to do so? So we're going to have a short discussion of, are there mitzvot that you're inspired to do, that you're inspired to perform, or you do the mitzvot because it's tradition, because you're told to? Any thoughts of why you do certain mitzvot? And if there's,
Yeah.
and you can unmute yourself.
Hi.
So, who's speaking? And introduce
Lynn.
yourself as well.
Lynn is first, then Anise.
Lynn Podell.
Okay.
Lynn Podell. Well, I think that kindness to people, if someone is ill, making a phone call, if someone paying a shiva call, I mean, these are things I think you would do without being told that you have to do it, or following some kind of a ritual law.
Right. And there are definitely differences between laws that are, and Anise, I believe, is next to speak. And that there are differences between the mitzvot that have become minhag, mitzvot that are d'oraita from the Torah, and mitzvot that are d'Rabbanan, so from the rabbis. So it doesn't necessarily say specifically we pay a shiva call, but it's what we've become. Or we can see examples of how that has happened, that after someone died in the Torah, people had a time of quiet. So Anise, I believe I unmuted you, so.
Yes, I was going to say, I think it's a combination. I think there are times when you're motivated because you're truly inspired, and there are other times when you're doing something because you know you're obligated to do it, but you might not necessarily feel emotionally connected to it.
Okay, good.
And
So
Alan.
yes, and also Gail wanted to speak. I saw before. Alan?
Well, it reminds me, it may not be a question of instantaneous, but it's about the mitzvah of Shabbat, where we're told both Shamor,
yeah.
Shamor and Zachor to remember and to observe it. So, it's both.
Right. And it's definitely a difference between when you observe a mitzvah and have a feeling for it, a connection to it, or if you're just doing it because you remember that you're supposed to. And so you do it, but you don't have that feeling there. And as we get to Shabbat, we should Shamor and Zachor it together. And Gail?
Yeah, you can't do all the mitzvot. So I'll go on the premise of picking certain mitzvot and really do them well, because you really can't do, there's so many and you want to do all the mitzvot, but you really can't. So just pick the few, whether it's Birko Cholim or whatever it might be, and pick the ones that really speak to you or where you could be helpful.
Good. So something that really speaks to you. And it doesn't stop. You know, for example, Charlie will have his bar mitzvah in a couple of years. And they'll probably, if your synagogue's like most, they'll have a mitzvah project. And if you make this kid who's like fearful of animals do a project where they go to an animal shelter, they're going to keep doing it. So you have to pick a mitzvah that they have a connection to, their mitzvah project, their social action project. So you have to have a connection to it. I'll tell you briefly that the mitzvah of tefillin started as a obligation for me in October of 1993, when the JTS said, and there was only one seminary in America at that point for the conservative movement, they said, you need to wrap tefillin every day or else you're not going to be considered for the rabbinate. So when it was the 10th anniversary of the ordination of women, my mom was with me, and the Sunday program, I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. It was my senior year of college. And then the next morning I went and I wrapped tefillin and I said, wow, I really need to do this because I want to become a rabbi. Then it became my obsession, and my thesis for my BA in religion at Barnard, God, Women, and Tefillin, where I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, then I need to learn why I'm doing it, how women are even able to do it. And it became my lifelong passion lifelong, it is more than half my life. So like 30 years later, I'm still passionate about teaching it because it was something I had to do, but I really learned why I'm doing it. So it's different. I mean, people do a lot of mitzvot and they don't know why they're doing it. So it's really important to have that connection to it. And similarly, we should have a connection to God as to what God's doing for us. So one of my weekly words of Torah this week about chesed was to be aware of the chesed God gives to us every day. You know, my sister was just talking to me and I said, is anybody else outside with you? She said, the birds. I was like, okay, they're God's creatures. We should be aware of them too, but they won't repeat anything we're saying. So it's good. But for us to be aware of, like, those birds could be annoying, chirping sometimes, but they're God's creatures. We didn't create them. It's God's chesed to us to enjoy that.
Well, one more comment from Marion.
Yes.
You have to unmute, Marion.
I unmuted you.
I find doing a mitzvah is what we do every day. If I'm making blankets or hats for the homeless, I don't look at it as, I just figure that's something that I love doing and I feel that I'm doing a good deed. So I look at it as every day in our life, I think we're doing mitzvot, whether we're calling an older person who's I'm older, by themselves or concerned whether they have food. I think we just do it because we do it, because that's our life, because we're Jewish and that's what Judaism teaches us. So I don't look at any of them as a chore. I look at them as a blessing that we're doing these things. I really do.
A blessing, good. And it's good to have that connection and realize that we're doing it in gratitude to God. If you think about if mitzvot are from God, we're showing our gratitude to God for being able to live this life and be able to perform the mitzvot. So in our psalm, David asks God, what am I doing so that I can connect with you and have a relationship with you? Is it sacrifices? Is it words? Is it action? So let's look at the psalm. Margie, is it up there or is there something else up there? Okay, good. You have to go through a few different hoops to get to there.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, good. So he wrote it for the chief musician, a psalm of David. And I always love reading these for the chief musician to know that there was music. There was a lot of music that we had in the ancient times. I put my hope in the Lord. God inclined toward me and heeded my cry. So he gives hope, tikva. You see the root here, kavo, kaviti. And there's no unnecessary words. So it's interesting that they use two in a row. I hoped with all my hope that God will listen to me and incline to me. And I cried out to you. God lifted me out of the horrible pit, the slimy clay, and set my feet on a rock, steadied my legs. So I don't know about any of you, if you ever got stuck in slimy clay, but it's one of the things I could tell you I did at Isabella Friedman on my first year rabbinical school retreat. It was horrible. And it's really a terrible feeling to feel like you're being sunk in. But I had my colleagues with me. Chancellor Schorsch was there too. and they all helped me out of the quicksand, and I felt relieved. And then we went to daven mincha, and my shoe didn't have shoes. But anyhow, but I felt that I needed to go and daven then to thank God for that. That I literally was going into quicksand and like plunging down. But some of us might feel that way now. We have no idea how we're getting out of any of this, what the future holds. If my kids ask me anything, I'm like, I'm thinking about the next hour. Don't ask me about next week or a month from now. Like we feel like maybe personally, maybe not everybody, but you feel like you're sinking. We don't know what's going on in the world. We cry out to God to help us. And how do we cry out? With this music. Remember, with song, it was written for the chief musician. And we go to verse 4. God put a new song into my mouth, a hymn to our God. May many see it and stand in awe and trust in God. So again, we were slipping. We weren't sure what was going on, but we have a new song, a new attitude, a new connection, a new prayer that we're standing in awe, in yir'u, b'yivtechu, and to really put our trust into God. And what will that result in? Ashrei. Happy is the person who makes the Lord his trust, who turns not in the arrogant or to followers of falsehood. So if you put your trust in God, especially when it's uncertain and unclear and you feel like things are out of control or not in your control, and you say, I'm going to be happy, I'll put my trust into God, all will be better. And those who don't are arrogant. So we should turn our trust to God and we can be happy. It's a way of thinking. I'm not saying everyone does this or should do it, but it's a way of thinking that comes out of here. And hopefully, if you do the mitzvot, right, that you do it in happiness, that mitzvot shouldn't be a chore. And when you're performing a mitzvah, it makes you happy. It's like when you give a gift, you might give it to someone who's receiving it, but the person who gives it also has a gift there. Someone, I think it was Marion, said that she makes the blankets and the hats for the homeless. I think that was Marion who said that. It's a joy that she's making them and doing the mitzvah to give to somebody else to make them happy, to be warmer. So it's mitzvah goreret mitzvah, one mitzvah leads to another, and it inevitably you have to be happy doing it. 6. You, O Lord my God, have done many things. The wonders you've devised for us, none can compare. Were I to speak and tell of them, they would be too many to declare. So there are too many wonderful things God has done for us. We can't even make a list of it. So what does God want? You gave me to understand that you don't desire sacrifice and meal offerings. You do not ask for burnt offerings and sin offerings. Then I said, look, I come with a scroll written for me. So what is this scroll written for me? Is it the Torah? We could say the Torah is our personal Torah that God wrote for us. God doesn't want these sacrifices. He wants a written scroll. Think about last weekend. I don't know about you, but my kids couldn't go to a store to make me a card. But the most beautiful thing is that they wrote, I didn't need an offering. I didn't need a gift. They wrote a scroll for me. They wrote a card. It was more personal. And if you think of that, the Torah was a Megillah Sefer, Katuv Alai, that it's written to me, you can always find something that will speak to you in the Torah. And what is it that's written in there? To do what pleases you, my God, is my desire. Your teaching is in my inmost parts. What do we want to do? We want to observe the Torah so that it's a connection to God, because this is what God desires. I proclaimed your righteousness and it moved, sorry. We are on verse 10. I proclaimed your righteousness and a great congregation. See, I did not withhold my words. O Lord, you must know it. So he's not only writing it for himself, he's writing it for an entire congregation. He's in community like we are, so that all will know, and that especially God will know what his words are, that he is proclaimed God's righteousness, proclaiming it, he's thanking God. I did not keep your beneficence to myself. I declared your faithful deliverance. I did not fail to speak of your loving kindness in a great congregation. So in verse 11, we have our chesed. We didn't have it yesterday, I don't think, but we have 2 examples of chesed in this psalm. So you don't keep it to yourself. When you get something great, like I just shared with you that my children made me a card. So I shared it with you. When you get a gift, you want to share it with other people. So too, David saying, I share my gift of God's beneficence, God's greatness with other people. And he wants to share the loving kindness he's received with others. O Lord, you will not withhold from me your compassion. Your loving kindness will protect me always. And what a great thing to think that you'll always be protected because of God's chesed to us. For misfortunes without number envelop me. My iniquities have caught up with me. I cannot see. They're more than the hairs of my head. I'm at wit's end. So I stopped reading this and I wrote in my notes here, can relate to COVID. If you read the paper all the time and watch the news and just live in a world, just interacting with people, you hear all the time the terrible misfortunes that are taking place. People who have fought off cancer and the Nazis and they come to COVID. It's draining. They're more than the hairs in my head. I'm at wit's end. I don't know about you, but I can't listen to the news sometimes or read the New York Times on Sunday when I get it for the pages of obituaries. I read something, there were like 20 pages of obituaries in the local paper in Flatbush in Brooklyn. It's just, you get to wit's end and you realize this text that was written thousands of years ago speaks to us today. So what do we wish for? Oh, favor me, Lord, and save me. Oh, Lord, haste to my aid. So Ritzei Adonai lahatzileni Adonai le'ezrati husha. Come to my aid, God, help me. Let those who seek to destroy my life be frustrated and transgressed. Let those who wish me harm fall back in shame. So he hasn't spoken about other people recently in this psalm, but now he says to it, if anybody has anything against me, let them fall back. Let them be ashamed. Let those who say, aha, aha, over me be appalled over their shame. These other people should be shameful what they're saying about me. But let all who seek you be glad and rejoice in you. Whoops, I don't know how that moves. So 17, but let all who seek you be glad and rejoice in you. Let those who are eager for your deliverance always say, exalted be the Lord. So again, the concept of simcha, yasitzu v'yitzmechu, that we should be happy and glad to rejoice in God and extol it, to show others that they too should be rejoiced. And why? But I am poor and needy. May the Lord devise deliverance for me. You are my help and my rescuer, my God. Do not delay. And we do all this because God knows that we're poor and we're needy. He'll devise a way to deliver us, to be better, will help us, will rescue us, and he's not going to wait, or God's not going to wait. So the Hebrew is a really interesting way. Remember, it's a poetry. So the Hebrew, va'ani ani, I am poor. So it's two different words. The aleph is ani and the ayin is poor, but the listening to it is the same. It's a homophone. Be'evyon adoni yachashovli ezrati. So help me. The word Ezra, la'azor, to help, is so often in this prayer. So we shouldn't be thinking that we're left without any help. God is there to help us, even at the difficult times, even at this time when there's so much tragedy and sadness and passings, but God is there to help us in the healing. So I wanted to tell you that some of the verses that are found in the liturgy, in the repetition of the Amidah during Rosh Hashanah, if anyone's keeping track, verse 2 is there. And I'll go back to it. Kavo kiviti Adonai, v'yet elai v'yishma shavati. It's probably not part that the Chazan necessarily sings out loud, but it's there. And the second verse of V'hu Rachum in the Pesukei de Zimra prayer in the morning is verse 12. Ata Adonai lo tichlal rachamecha mimeni, chastecha v'amitzcha tamid yitzruni. And also that same verse is in the long part of the Tachanun on Mondays and Thursdays. So just a few other notes that I wanted to share, and then we'll look at the chat and also if there are any comments that people wanted to make. I think we should all realize that we should sing a new song. There was a possibility I was going to share with all of you today. Believe it or not, U2, the group, made a song on their 1983 album called War that uses the lyrics from here. It's a song called 40, So it literally is from Psalm 40, but I wasn't sure how many YouTube fans we had here. If anyone really wants to hear it, we can listen to it Sunday for Psalm 41, but you can look that up. It's a psalm about gratitude, and we really should not lose faith because God is our emotional support at this time. And it's a way of seeking some spiritual connection with God and thinking about what's going on. It is a definite lament. He goes from thanksgiving to lamenting to giving hope and wish that all of us have some hope. So if anybody has any brief comments, my Women in Tefillin became, well, I have it, but also over last year, we did Tefillin 101 over a 7-week period. They're all on the Women's League website under resources, I believe. That a lot of it are the texts that I found in our classic literature discussing women in Tefillin. So King David's wife, Michal, the daughter of Shaul, actually wore tefillin, and the rabbis did not object. That's in Eruvin in the Talmud. Faye, I like that. The Hebrew, the word mitzvah comes from the root of the word commandment, and in Aramaic, the word mitzvah comes the word connection. So it's a connection to the word kesher. Did your daughter know that, or you knew that? Is that your daughter?
Yes.
I learned that. I learned that a while back, and I thought it was an interesting in your introduction that the word in Aramaic mitzvah is connected to the word like sevet. You know, like if anyone who's been at Ramah, or go to like a staff, right? Sevet is the idea of connection. People join together. If you look it up, I've actually seen it. I read it in a Hasidic story. I can send it to you, but I think it's a nicer way of thinking about, no offense to commandment, but the connection, I think, really gets to the heart of why we want to do mitzvot and engage.
Right. And I think it's important to think about that engagement of why we do mitzvot. It was one of the things that Chancellor Eisen, at the beginning of his career as our chancellor, he had a whole thing about doing mitzvot and why we do it. And it's not necessarily good deeds, but to encourage people to do it.
I started in my religious school to only have mitzvah translated as connection, not because commandment has the, Mount Sinai over your head type feeling of, you must do this type thing, and connection, I think, is more inviting.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to look that up actually to learn more about that.
Okay.
So I don't know you yet, but you teach also in your shul, or you're head of the school?
Yeah, I'm the education director at my synagogue. Yeah.
Oh, so Faye, we have to have her on more often.
Yeah.
You can teach us one day.
Yes, we should connect. We have a couple colleagues in common, so yeah.
Sure. Excellent. Yeah. Good. Someone had asked where the song comes is that I referenced. It's U2 and Dina.
I assume that this is everywhere, but I know in my neighborhood we have the neighborhood or next door. And this week I had gone to Kaiser and found out why I was having so much problems with my legs. I have an infection, which is why I'm now on the Mishaberach list. And so I tried to use my walker and it doesn't work. The back legs are stuck. And I don't know how to fix it. So I wrote on there, and I had 3 guys from different places come onto my patio. I was not anywhere near them. I was inside, but they came onto my patio, which is where the walker was, and fixed it. They oiled it and played around with it, had a wonderful time, and then waved at me and left. And I thought that was so wonderful. I haven't even got any idea who these 3 guys were.
So that is actually the highest level that Maimonides says, that the highest level of giving is anonymous. So even though those men had names, but you didn't know them, they anonymously was the highest level of a giving and a mitzvah. So beautiful, and refuah shlema to you as well. So I hope that everyone enjoys. At the end, maybe, unless now, Eileen found the exact link on YouTube to the song, but I don't know if everyone's into YouTube. What do you think, Eileen? We could listen to it later?
Yeah, it's kind of jarring.
Yes, as it would be. Their whole album's called War. Marlene, one comment, and then we're going to. And
yeah,
Joe.
just to be I'm sorry, Faye, what is your daughter's name? What is her daughter's name? The one who is the educational director?
She has to unmute.
Oh,
Yeah, I did it at the same time, so it didn't work.
Karen Lewin.
okay, thank you. I wanted to follow up on Karen. Can anybody here think of well, maybe a mitzvah that doesn't involve a connection of some sort, whether it's a connection to God, to Hashem, or to your family, or to somebody that you don't know?
Come back.
Kind of like that.
Shatnez.
What was that?
Shatnez.
Okay. Well, let's say the majority of the mitzvah that I'm engaged in.
Right. But that's one that you're like, no connection, really doesn't, sorry, I don't want to sound blasphemous, but really doesn't have a reason. But
There you go. We have the commandments and the connections.
right. But the shatnez of fabrics doesn't make sense. The shatnez of putting two animals together, a stronger one and a weaker one together, that definitely has a connection and more of a
But you mean like the linen and the different threads and fibers, the different kinds of fabrics.
right. That really makes no sense. But a shatnez of mixing two animals that aren't the same, that's also shatnez, and that really isn't. Joe, and then we'll wrap
I
up.
find it interesting in the writing where towards the beginning he says he's writing a song, but he wants everybody to read it. Not I want everybody to hear it. I want everybody to see it. I don't remember in what line it was, but towards the beginning, I'm writing this song and I want everybody to see it.
And that may have been in translation. So I'll have to check that later to see if that happens to be the translation, because he did write it for the chief musician. So it wasn't necessarily that everyone saw it, and they didn't have printed word, but I'll look to see what that means. And if it was just, it may have been my translation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Did King David write music?
They say that he wrote these psalms and then he gave it to chief musicians to write it. I don't know if it's like the music that we have today, but most of the psalms were put to some sort of music.
Okay, thank you.
In my other Tehillim book, it also says to see, shall see and be awed.
And which verse is that specifically?
4.
Okay. Thank you. So I always enjoy our conversations and our discussions, so thank you. And we have a few yurt sites today. I believe that Debbie has a lot of them. And if you don't listen carefully for your yurt site, if you have one to add, you may. And Debbie, if you could read our list of those who have passed, we extend condolences to all, and in addition, also the yurt sites. And you can unmute yourself. You're just not on my first screen. There you go. Okay, not a problem.
Today we honor the yurt sites and remember the yurt sites of Esther bat Pesach Bechana, mother of Rusty Zakheim, Mina bat David Muriel Aronowitz, who is Sheila Stern's mother, and Tzipora bat Sarah Vemoshe, who's the aunt of Jeanette Brownstein. May their memory be for a blessing. Women's League mourns the passing this week of Lisa Blumenfeld, Amit Ben Yigal, and Jesus Belina. We also mourn the passing of Evelyn Seelig, Sarah bat Chana, Sue Press, Bela Frida bat Sarah Liba, Leona Elligberg, Liba Leah bat Ephraim Visara, Louis Berlin, Hilda Stern, Sylvia Kraus, Hope Delon, Charles's wife, Jack Honowitz, Lillian Benjamin, Yeshaya Reuven HaKohen ben Aharon Verifka, Inez Stanton, Mina Asserman, Richard Murray, Lillian Rappaport, Eden Rich, Idan Ronan Greenstein, Susan Berman Levine, Avraham Ben Hirschleib, Lillian Tobias, Alicia Nemzora, Jenny Zlotnick, Helen Goldberg, Mark Schwartz, Dr. Jay Marlin, Linda Hornick, Rabbi Sigma Faye Koren, Donna Spector, Lori Cabot, Alan Feldman, Samuel Ben Chaim, Andrew Curtez, Rabbi Ken Roseman, Louis Hoser. And I believe that's it.
And we
Thank you.
have one more, Shlomo ben Zalman Yasef, the father of Susan Kahonik.
Is that a
And-
yahrzeit or passing, Margie?
Right, that's what I was going to ask.
Yahrzeit.
Julie Wynn, W-Y-N-N.
And is
Oh,
that
I apologize, I missed Julie's name.
She
Julie
passed
Wynn.
away.
Right, Julie Wynn and Ivan Stanton. I'm sorry, I missed those names. Unfortunately, the list has grown.
Unfortunately, the list grows. Are there other yurt sites that anyone may have?
Do we have Karen Tenisaka's father?
Yes, he's Jesus Balina.
Yes,
Okay.
that was the first one.
Yeah.
Second.
We remember all our loved ones who have passed. I'm going to put up the screen and I'm going to unmute everybody. If you have other noises in the background, please just mute yourself, or if you're saying Swedish,
farting.
please tell them to just keep it down for a few minutes. I will, it's on the screen, right, Debbie?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So I'll begin, and I'm going to be pointing to the words, and I hope that we can all say it together so we can respond together as well. We begin.
Yitgadal,
Kadash, Me, Rava, Yalma, Divra, Yamlich, Pute, Chayechon, Mechon, Chaye, Dechol,
Israel, Magala,
Izman, Me, Rava, Maya, Sarah, Ar, Be it Romam, Yaseh, Hadar, Ale, Ela, Tata, Beshirata, Shbechata, Menechemata, Amiran, Alma, Beru, Yehesh, Lama, Chaim, Aleinu, Kol Yisrael, Amen. Seh, Shalom,
Shalom, Amen.
Amen. Seems to you. I'm just going to mute everyone. I have one more thing to add, and then I'm going to turn over to Margie. So you were asking me before about the word see, and that word, if it's verse 4, many will look and stand in awe. They're actually not looking at his psalm. They're looking at the awe of God and the amazement of God. That's where the seeing refers to in that word of Yir'u Rabim. So it's not that the psalm they're seeing, but they're actually seeing the wonders of God. So someone had just asked that. And Margie, there you are. Shabbat Shalom to everybody.
Everybody, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Rabbi. And for all of us, let it be a peaceful Shabbat. Becoming my fast favorite day of the week. No offense, it's 9 Zooms less on Shabbat. So it's a nice day of rest. And I hope all of us have a safe weekend, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom to all.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. And refuah
Thank you,
shleima to
Rabbi.
all.
Thank you, Margie.
Thank
To
you.
all who participated, Razel and to Debbie, and to Barbara. Everybody is able to mute themselves if they'd like.
To you,
Shabbat
Rabbi.
Shalom,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you.
Shalom.